On today's Into Your Head number 667, the legal implications of extras in real life, bird shit in fine cuisine, natural icing on trees, how invisible people could end a recession, my apparently fake memories of the 1980s, garden peas versus Walt Disney, how to televise a silent brainstorming session, and lots more. Deceased Venezuelan leaders walk into a bar. One of the deceased Venezuelan leaders goes straight up to the bar counter and says, "Hello, can I have a pint of your finest, whatever they drink in Venezuela that's nice, please?" And the man behind the bar ignores him. And the Venezuela leader says, "Excuse me, service please, I'm here waiting to be served. I don't wish to be impolite or impatient or anything, but you seem to be seeing right through me, as if I'm a ghost or something." And the other dead Venezuelan leader comes up behind him and says, "What's going on here? What's the hold up?" And the other fella says, "I seem to be being ignored. You have a go." And the other presidential, whatever you call it, says, "Fair enough, I'll try ordering, but it's still your round, so don't run off with your wallet there." He says, "Hello, can I have a pint of your finest, whatever it is that we drink, please?" And the man behind the bar ignores him too. And then someone else comes up between them and says, "Hello, can I have a pint of your finest stuff, please?" And the man behind the bar says, "Certainly, sir. Would you like the stuff with the white stuff on it, or the stuff with the fizzy stuff in it, or a combination of the two? Or would you like it shoved up your arse?" And the man in front of the bar says, "This doesn't sound right. Doesn't sound right at all. This isn't a normal two cats walk into a bar story that have just walked into, is it?" And the man behind the bar says, "You can be damn sure to Christ as hell it isn't. It sure as hell isn't. That should have been obvious to you from the minute you walked in. Although I suppose now, it may well still be the minute you walked in. I'd say that it was no more than 57 seconds ago that you walked in. So as long as it's obvious to you now, then it's been obvious from the minute you walked in. Not that you have to be aware of your surroundings at all times. You don't come in here for to have to be on edge and watching out for everything all the time. You come in here to relax and have a pint of our finest, whatever it is we sell." And the two dead Venezuelan leaders nod their heads in agreement, but only see each other. And then they realise, "Oh, we're dead. They can't see us. Oh, that explains it. That explains it. We were paying so little attention that we didn't even notice we were dead. Although we knew we were dead, we just hadn't realised. You know what I mean. We're in an undead person's bar, apparently. Wrong kind of place. Right time, right..." What's that ad though? It used to be an add-on in the 80s for a Tennant's Lager or something. Right time, right place at McDonald's, have tenants, or something along those lines. Around the same time, there was one that went, "Cool down to school in the metro style in the mile in the..." That was for a car. That's for a car. Something metro. I haven't seen one of them for a while, I can tell you. And I doubt they sold them in dead Venezuelan bars. Although it wasn't a dead bar, clearly. It was attracting dead people as well as live people on this particular night. Although I think if your man, the barman, were to sit down with his accountant and say, "Let's see, where does most of our custom come from?" Presumably from visible people. Those invisible people who are coming in here and not getting served at all, they're of no use to us. They don't generate any income for us. Although I suppose if we could start seeing them and then serving them, that would be a new market opening up for us. We'd be able to compete on that with other bars that can't see them. Maybe I should hire a psychic doorman or something to invite all these dead people in. Maybe, you see, that's called lateral thinking. That's what it's called. And that's how we're going to get through this damn recession, I can tell you. Anyway, hello and welcome to the show. Now, I know what you're thinking there. You're thinking this is in very, very poor taste. Absolutely disgusting. It's like if you got a banana and mixed it up with bird crap and turned it into a fine paste and told somebody it was a liver pate, which would be nobody likes liver pate, so they wouldn't eat it anyway. They just pretend to nibble at it, so no harm would be done, and you'd have saved yourself the cost of an expensive liver pate while still being hospitable. So no damage done there. I know there's nothing bad taste about mentioning dead Venezuelan leaders. For one thing, I didn't mention the one that died last week, Hugo Chavez. I didn't mention him at all in my two dead Venezuelan leaders walk into a bar. And even if I had, I don't think I'd have made him look bad, even if he was one of the main characters. I didn't make him look either bad or good. He was just a character filling up space. It's like when you play one of your computer games, your Grand Theft Auto. There's lots of people walking around in the streets there that are just characters that are in the background. They're just there to make the place look like a place that might have people in it. They're like the people you hire to walk around in the background in films and on soap operas. No more than that, no less than that. You just have to pay them less than a proper actor. I hope the Christ Hugo Chavez was paid more than one of them, because if he's not, it's no wonder he died in his frigging 50s. He probably couldn't afford proper he can get insurance, I'm sure. Do they have equity rates for leaders of countries? I don't know. I think it's just a matter of you look up how much it pays before you decide to run for election. If you don't like how much it pays, then you don't run, or else you go ahead and run and campaign to have the price risen, although that look a bit dodgy. If you go take up a job as leader of a Venezuelan or any other country, and then you say the first thing I'm going to do here is sort out the low pay for people such as me, then that's going to be in a bad. So you're going to look bad then. Although of course, if I go into McDonald's and start working there, and I say the first thing I'm going to do is campaign to have people like me get paid more, then you're considered a hero. You say, oh, look at him, he's trying to dig himself and his colleagues out of a hole. Now what you have to make sure not to say there is that don't say don't let them know that it's just you you're campaigning for. That's the trick. You go up with you write down your propositions and you bring it up to Parliament and you say, I have a new plan. It could get me the burger maker from McDonald's out of poverty for a very small amount. It'd only cost you about a couple of £100 a week, and they say, oh, that's great, the voters will love that, we'll take that. Just don't tell them that it doesn't include anyone else. It's just the cost of putting your pay up. Everyone else is still stuck on minimum wage. Now that I think about it, you probably wouldn't get very far with that, but you have to think these things through, and I'm thinking them aloud here. It's called thinking aloud. There's a program on BBC Radio 4 called Thinking Aloud, but they spell it ALOUD, but it's meant as a kind of a pun, as in thinking is allowed here. You're allowed to think here. This isn't Russia. This is BBC Radio 4 in the late afternoon, just before everyone gets home from work. It's basically aimed at old and retired people who are sitting on the radio, sitting in front of their long wave radio out in the porch in the old folks' home, thinking, what'll I do to change the world before I die? I suppose I could listen to BBC Radio 4 for a while. Oh, look, this fella says you're allowed to think, and not only that, he's got some people on to think with him, and they're doing it aloud. It's not a silent programme. If you move that to the television, they could just have a silent edition of it. Maybe have show what you have them all sitting round the table table will have a camera behind them so we can see what notes they're making. Just make sure all the guests have good handwriting, and we can say, oh, thinking aloud with a W here, but silent, thinking silently aloud, and we say, here's what I want you to think about for half an hour, and we'll all watch them. We'll watch them take notes. The camera will zoom in on their notes, and then at the end of the program we'll get someone else in to have a look at them. We'll have an extra program called Thinking Aloud. It'll be like when you have Big Brother, and then after you have a discussion program where they come on and have a chat show about it. They can have a chat show about this week's Thinking Aloud, and that'll be an hour of television filled up. That'll be absolutely fucking fantastic. Not that I know anything about television. I've no interest in television whatsoever other than watching it. I'm perfectly happy to watch it. If you think I'm going to coming up with program ideas for the freaking BBC Radio 4 when they turn it into a freaking television channel, why would you do that? There's already a BBC 4 television channel anyway, and it's pretty much the same thing. Leave things as they are. You don't need to be changing things every minute of every day. Once you find something that works, allow it to work for a while so we can consume it. If you come up with for example, if you come up with a chocolate bar that's got raisins in it and nuts, you don't say, oh, this is great, everyone likes this. Now here's another one that has one less raisin and one more. They're doing that with the fucking Snickers now. They have two special editions. One says Snickers with more nuts, and the other one says Snickers with more caramel. And as I understand it, if you were to mix the two together, you'd have the makings of two normal Snickers. They're all snickering at us under their breath behind us. They're thinking, oh, they went for us, they fell for us, with our little gimmicky crap. It's like living in a freaking capitalist free country. What do they? I don't know what they'll have next. Well, at least it's nice to have a surprise left in your life. That's the one thing about living in a place like this. I don't know what's coming next. Possibly the end of this segment. Now, while we're on the topic of the extra characters in Grand Theft Auto, the ones who just go around doing automated stuff, perhaps automatically shooting people in the background for a bit of extra entertainment, leads me to wonder if we had people like that in real life, if we had real extras filling up our world here, because there's only so many human beings a human being can produce. So let's say there's 5 billion real people here, and the rest are all extras. Are they? Oh, I wonder, are they? Do they have to obey the same laws as everyone else, or is it one law for the real people and one law for the artificial filler background characters? That'll be the next thing when we fix poverty and discrimination and all sorts of stuff. Are we going to have to deal with real people versus fake people? And how's that going to work with ghosts? Going back to the whole Hugo Chavez thing in the bar. If Hugo Chavez walked into a bar today and said, no, I'm not a ghost, I'm a filler background person, so I can just take stuff here and it'll be okay because I'm automated. The computer program software made me do it. Well, then who's responsible? I suppose the programmer isn't responsible there. Just like in a drone attack, if I were to attack you, the listener, with a drone today, I'd be responsible for that, even if I turned the drone into some sort of flying robot that looked like a human. You couldn't go arresting the drone just because it looks like a human. You'd arrest me, and quite rightly so. So, although you probably have to get me extradited first, you'd have to apply to get me extradited to wherever you are, because I'm pretty damn sure to Christ as hell that you're not in my country. If you are, I probably wouldn't launch a drone strike on you, because I'd be quite happy to have some extra Irish listeners. Oh no, anyway, it's just a thought, no more than that. Don't panic. I'm not about to I'm not about to drive a frigging drone down your throat. You're allowed to think aloud about these things. This is a forum for public thinking, although not necessarily a forum for public debate, because this is a monologue. It's a monocular. You're allowed to talk back to me in your mind, but I just can't hear you. If you have anything to say, feel free to email studio@intoyourhead.com and put it in writing, like it. And any normal civilization puts their thoughts in writing anyway. There's no point me saying all this and you saying stuff back to me. There isn't going to be a record of that for civil. Remember now, 3,000 years from now, when they dig up a pyramid or a nuclear warhead, and they find you and me, our fossilized selves lying under it, and they see a freaking iPod, they're not going to say, the mysteries of their civilization and all their culture, it's probably on this little thing with the screen on it. And then they say, the battery's dead, fuck it. No, they'll look for something written, and then they'll find some linguist who can learn English, and they'll figure out what we put out. And so put it in writing, and make damn sure if you email me that you print it off onto a long-lasting paper, or maybe put it in your wall cavities, I don't know, wherever hell way you do it, that's the way you come and chew. I don't know. Was that a song I was coming up with? It might have been. Hold on a minute. Oh yes, it was. Wherever hell way you chew it. Don't forget to knock and do up so effect. Wherever way hell you do it. Don't forget to try and chew it. Style in the mile in the metro. The metro. Whatever way you try and chew it. There you go. That's a mashup between some sort of ad probably for Chewits, those chewy sweets that were around a lot in the 80s. I think you can get them in Lidl now, and the Metro car, which was around a lot in the 80s. I don't think you can get that in Lidl now. You can probably get it somewhere. Find someone who's a Metro 80s car enthusiast and see what they have to say for us. You can probably do it. Do a Google for the. Let's do that now. Let's do a Google for the Met. I'll do a Google for style to the mile in the metro. I'll have a look. I hope I don't come up with that stupid fucking free newspaper that used to get slammed into my face every time it came out of Houston Station at 8 in the morning on my way to. It's nothing about it here. Or is it style? Let's try cool down to school in the metro. It's a possibility that my entire childhood consists of fake memories, but I'm pretty sure I remember this song being on an advertisement for the Metro car when I was 8 or 9 all the time. But no, nothing there. Nothing. Cool down to school in the metro. Stall to the mile in the metro. I remember that ad as if it was real. I thought it was real, but no, apparently the internet disagrees. Although there wasn't any internet, admittedly, in the 80s that we know of. The scholars were keeping it hidden away, like everything else. They kept the cure for AIDS hidden away until last week, until someone had someone with a bit of conscience saw a child dying of it, and they said, feck it, give them the cure. But no, they keep everything else hidden away from us, the cunts.
Into your head.
Support the podcastual arts at no cost to you, just by sending Neil money. Visit intoyourhead.com and click on the tip jar to make a once-off donation. intoyourhead.com.
If you would like to comment on any of the issues raised in this program, email studio@intoyourhead.com. Remember, we value the opinions of you, the humble and ignorant listener.
Matchstick cats. Matchstick cats. Matchstick cats. Matchstick cats and stuff.
Are you a cat? Or do you know somebody who might be? Then tell yourself about Matchstick Cats, Neil's webcomic. Brand new episodes at intoyourhead.com.
Cats and stuff. Intoyourhead.com.
have a listener topic request here. At least we think we do. I'm not sure. At some point this week, I put out a request saying, I'm recording a podcast today. And Ernest replied, fax machine, full stop, bleep, comma, bloop. And then ironically, no punctuation at all to end it. He adds in all this meaningless punctuation in the middle, but nothing at the end. And that's supposedly a topic suggestion for the show. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. You have to help me out here, people, if you're going to be like that. What else? Yes, monkey bites. Monkey bites, that's what they're calling them now. I have a picture from Jerry in blah, 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 the place where Jerry lives. I believe it's America, that's what it's called. There's a thing called monkey bites, a cinnamon pull apart with icing. Basically what they've done apparently, and it's perishable to keep refrigerated something days, something at room temperature, something, and there's a barcode on it. Basically they look like chicken nuggets that have been half burned. Apparently there's cinnamon in them and icing, and you can pull them apart and you can heat them in the microwave. You can shove them down your gullet, or else you can thanks for that picture of them, Jerry, for bringing them to my attention. Another alternative would be to go out to a monkey nut tree and get a proper real monkey nut. If you want icing on it, go out when it's snowing. At least that won't do you any harm. There you go. You foreigners, you love your frigging icing on everything like that. Take a bit of fruit off the tree when it's snowing and you can eat the icing and it won't do you any harm, unless of course there's a nuclear leak or something nearby. But there you go, monkey bites, as apparently that's what you call them now. Nobody can just eat anything straight off a tree or out. When I was a child, we used to grow our vegetables in the freaking garden like normal people. Have you people ever even shelled a pea? You probably haven't. It's one of the most joyous activities your children can do. You should have your children out now, sitting on the doorstep with a big bowl of unshelled peas and de-shelling them. You get your fingernail and you rub it down the middle and you open up a hop and there's magical peas inside them, and you put that into another bowl and then you put the shell on the compost heap until it rots and it turns into a shit-like substance which you can then bury in the ground, and that'll help your next crop to grow next year. It's called the circle of life, and I'll tell you, it's a far cry from what Walt Disney thought and Elton John thought it was, with his here's some characters doing stuff, and here's a song about the circle of life with Elton John in his glasses. Fucking ridiculous. That's not gardening as far as I'm concerned. Oh no. Anyway, on with the show. Two cats walk into a bar. One of the cats goes straight up to the bar counter and says, "Hello, can I have a pint of your finest Guinness, please?" And the man behind the bar says, "Certainly, young cat. And what are you having yourself?" And the cat says, "I just told you, a pint of your finest Guinness, please." And the man behind the bar says, "Yes, but are you not getting something for the other cat too?" And the cat says, "No, why?" And the man says, "Well, it's customary for people to buy rounds. If two people come in together, one of them goes up and buys the first round, and then the other one comes up when they're finished and buys the second round." And the cat says, "I know nothing of your human obsessions and all these habits you have. All I know is I want a pint of your finest Guinness. If the other car wants a pint of your finest Guinness too, then we're in competition. I want the finest one, so I just deal with me first, and then he can come up and get what he wants." And the man behind the bar says, "Fair enough. I suppose it's none of your business, none of my business." And the cat says, "Damn right it's none of your business. You think just because we're not people, because we're cats, you have a right to interfere in our private affairs. And oh no, mind your own business. And the man says, okay, if you've made your point, stay cat, don't overdo it now. And the cat says, fair enough, we're all friends here, we're just talking, that's all we're doing here. Although admittedly, for a cat to be just talking is a lot more unusual than it is for a human. So if you see a cat talking, it's not just we're just talking, it's like a freaking cat talking. I can see why that would attract your attention. But apart from that, no. Pint of your finest Guinness, please. And the man says, that will be €4 and 35 of your finest European cents, please. And the cat says, how the hell am I supposed to come up with that? I'm a cat. And the man behind the bar says, a credit card will do. Or do you have a chip inside you that the vet put in you? Maybe I'm supposed to scan that and it comes out with someone's account. I'm not sure. I've never had a cat customer before. Not one who's buying around anyway. I did have a woman come in with a cat in a basket once, but she did all the buying. Do you want me to lift you up and scan you against the till and see if anything happens? And the cat says, no, I do not. Usually these things in these places, I go round the back door and they put something in a saucer for me. I just thought I'd come round through the civilised way and come up to and the man behind the bar says, oh, I think I see the problem here. You've been getting sources of milk from round back in the alleyway. Well, that's a little bit different from this. This is the commercial part of the property here. People come in here and buy stuff, and that's how I pay for that milk that you get round the back. And the cat says, oh, fair enough. Could you not just bring the milk up to me on the counter then here? And the man behind the bar says, oh, Christ, no. If an inspector from the government turned up and saw a cat licking milk off a plate up on the counter or on the floor or wherever, I can tell you the first thing he would do is say, shut this place down, shut it down, just like Gordon Ramsay does, except he doesn't have the legal thing where he can shut us down permanently. But no, we could be shut down. They say you can't be having cats licking things in bars. You can have men and women licking glasses. You can have people going to the toilet and not washing their hands. But once a cat starts licking things up on the counter, that's when they intervene. And the cat says, oh, I see. Clearly I don't know much about these institutions here that I thought I did. I featured in many two cats walk into a bar story, although admittedly they're all set in different fictional worlds, not in the real world. But I thought this was a fictional world too. Did I misunderstand? And the man behind the bar says, oh, maybe it is. I don't know. Wasn't aware of it up until now, to be perfectly honest. Hadn't noticed a narrator, although admittedly I wasn't listening out for one because I was busy conversing with you and trying to explain to you how a frigging bar business works. And the cat says, oh, relax, it's okay. Everyone stay calm, we're just talking here. And the man behind the bar says, yes, we are just talking here, but you're a cat and you're talking. That's quite amazing. And the cat says, I know it is, but just because something unusual and amazing is happening, that doesn't mean you have to get your legs in the twist. I've got 4 legs. I can manage to keep them sorted out. You've only got 2 to manage, and they're firmly planted on the ground, so chillax. My tail gets tangled up in mine sometimes if I'm not careful. And the man behind the bar says, fair enough. What happens now? When do we find out whether we're real or not? And the cat says, well, I think from the fact that I'm a talking cat, I think we can pretty much assume that this is a story and not real. And the man behind the bar says, Jesus Christ, just when I was starting to do well, I find out this is all just a story. And the cat says, don't worry, it'll all be painless. It'll come to an entertaining or interesting conclusion, or else he'll just stop in the middle and move on to something else.
IntoYourHead.com.
Sit, Bowsy. Sit. Good cat.